Hello, greetings to you. The topic that we're covering today is, can resentment destroy a marriage? You already know the answer, that any kind of toxin, if you have too much of it, is going to erode the container. Your marriage is a container. It's you and your wife or your husband, either way, live in a marriage bubble. I call it the sacred space of marriage. Most people don't have a sacred space of marriage. They are soulmates, but they've turned into cellmates. I'm Paul Friedman, by the way. I founded the Marriage Foundation. Subscribe now so we can continue to offer these free videos. Listen, our approach is very different. I've been doing this for almost 23 years. I started as a divorce mediator. So trust me, I've seen more anger than probably anyone. And I had an anger problem myself. And it was only with a technique that I discovered later on when I started helping people that I was able to get rid of it. Why am I talking about anger? Because resentment is just a form of anger. We go, oh no, you don't understand. She does this, he does that. And so naturally I'm going to feel resentment. No, naturally is up to you. You see, we don't learn this, but this gift that we have of free will is so powerful. And I'm going to cut to the chase right now. And I'm going to use an example. I could use several, but I'm going to use the example of Mahatma Gandhi. I know these days some people have never even heard of Mahatma Gandhi, but he freed India after the Second World War. He was a staunch pacifist. He was a real pain in the butt for the British Empire, starting in South Africa, and he created this whole system of behavior around pacifism where his disciples were warriors. And his idea was that we are in charge of how we react to things, and no one can lower us without our permission. His end of life example says it all. He was a Hindu, and there was a big problem between the Hindus and the Muslims in India. But it was a fellow Hindu who shot him to kill him because he said we need to embrace everybody. As he was being shot, he put his hands together and he gave his blessings to his assailant. How could he not be angry towards his assailant? How could he not feel resentment towards his assailant? Because the outer condition that stimulates anger is an outer condition. It enters the mind, this offense, and your husband or wife might be offending you or has offended you or has done something, all the way up to infidelity. It's still your choice whether you're going to feel resentment or not. We don't do things at the Marriage Foundation like Western psychology. We don't analyze things from the perspective of what's broken and how do we fix it. We come from the point of view of how do we make our marriage what it's supposed to be. A lot of people don't understand. Marriage is intended to produce happiness, above all, love, which is what produces happiness, right? And harmony. This is what marriage is for. It's why we got married. We fell in love. We decided this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. We already know some of their flaws before we marry them, and they come out over time. And ours comes out to them over time. And there are ways to not expose our flaws. They're not necessary to be exposed. I know a lot of people advocate, oh no, you got to put it all out on the table. That's not true. What you want to be is the ideal husband, the ideal wife, so that your marriage is filled with happiness, love, and harmony. Resentment, of course, it's going to destroy a marriage, just like any toxin put into any food, any substance that you're going to take in is eventually going to take over like a cancer. So sure, it will. Maybe at this rate where you're experiencing resentment now, it won't. But here's the trick. You don't go to your spouse and say, I resent this, you need to change. That's not going to work. What does work is for you to say to yourself, what they have done, what they are doing, represents who they are on their path of life. They have so many other qualities that are positive, wonderful, that I love to death. I'm going to look past this. And I'm not going to allow my mind to feel resentment. And every time the resentment comes up, I'm going to go, no, my love overwhelms any tiny little resentment that I might have, and I'm just going to love them. Love is the ultimate panacea, isn't it? We know that. It's not of the mind, it's not of the body, it's of the soul. You married your soulmate. So you want to live your life on that plane of soul harmony. And this is how you do it. Now, our marriage counselors who we are training are learning not to analyze. Don't go into what caused the resentment. Don't go into childhood. Don't go into past traumas. Who cares? You start with where you are now. And you go, what can I do to make my marriage into the ideal marriage? Do you realize it's your birthright? You know, everyone says, I'm not perfect. And you ask them, well, what's your number one imperfection? We don't analyze ourselves. What we do instead is we analyze those people who are closest to us. And we make fun of them. We put them down. We tell them they're the cause of our, for instance, our resentment. And they're not. And marriage is put together in such a way that we are meant to feel so much happiness all the time. This is something I discovered way back, almost 23 years ago, when I started to come up with a way to help people with their marriages. It was based on one couple who came to me for a divorce, but they didn't really want one. And they said, can you help us? And we all thought it would be a simple process of my teaching them how to communicate better. Because in the early 2000s, that was the trend. Oh, we're not good at communication. But communication is important, and you do have to learn how to communicate as a married person. But that's not it at all. It's about learning how to get the most out of your marriage. So now what happens is people come to us, they have a problem. If it's not overwhelming, they watch these videos. Look at some of the comments. People love it. And some people go so far as to get one of my books, and other people are having a really tough time in their marriage, and they'll get the course for men or the course for women. And now many people are starting to take the course to become a TMF marriage counselor, which is so special. And we're sending them business. Well, we get that program up and running, and it's on its way. And everything about marriage is amazing. And that's what's missing in our world. And we're here to help fill that gap. So I hope you understand. Yes, resentment will definitely erode, definitely destroy your marriage. It's not the only thing that will. Any toxin will destroy any really good anything and destroy it. resentment, anger, like jealousy, fear. There's so many things that can destroy a marriage. Just ask all the people who are divorced. What destroyed yours? You'll see there's a long list. But you don't have to address that list. You have to go the other way and make your marriage into an amazing, sacred space of marriage where it's so beautiful, it's so good. That's what we want for you. So if you have a problem, write into one of our counselors. It's a free service. You can do that. Go to our website, see what we have to offer. We're the future for marriage. We really are. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. Please like this video. Share it. Share it on social media. God bless you. Take care. Thank you.